I don't think this is a championship roster that they have. I think we're going to get caught in the same goddamn nightmare as the 90s Knicks. They're just good enough to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Look at Josh Hart, look at Starks. Both guys loved. We love these dudes. We love mediocre dudes on the Knicks. We really do.
Just
We
people who
find
play
these
hard.
dudes like, hey man, I'm guilty of it too. Linsanity, Von Novak. We just find these dudes who we can love, who we want to love. We're just desperate and thirsty. That's all it comes down to. Josh Hart is a six man at best. Josh Hart should not even be in the future plans of this team. If Josh Hart is holding up any trades, then Leon Rose is doing a disservice to the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
I understand what he brings to the table, and he's a +3 and all that Matrix bullshit, okay? He shoots like he's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. His shots look like me throwing ping pong balls, and he has no mid-range jumper. So all he is, and he's not Dennis Rodman. He's not grabbing you 21 boards a game. So what is he? He's a major tweener that we love.
Yeah.
This is the problem. And my coffee's got me flying, but this is the problem. That the New York Knicks haven't been here before. In the NBA, it's lock and load. Don't get too attached to dudes because they're probably going to be gone just to match salaries. And just what you said is 4 teams that are involved. Dude, this is a transient thing. What the Knicks are doing right now is they're trying to become the Golden State Warriors, where they're going to be relevant for the next 7 years, okay? He brings his lunch pail to work. Okay, I tell people Karl Anthony Towns is one of the most talented guys ever to put a Knicks jersey on. And if you're so quick to get rid of this guy, you got rocks in your head.
Yeah, bro, 100%. The loyalty thing is so overrated. When you have, if Josh Hart, if you have a trade for Giannis, I hate to just focus on Josh Hart, but if you have a trade where Giannis, and again, it's multiple steps that it's going to take, but if you get a trade where Giannis goes to the Bucks and says, I want to go to the Knicks, that's all I want to do. You guys owe me this favor. I gave you a championship. I've been loyal. Bucks say, okay, we'll send you there. Maybe it doesn't take that much. And if you told me it's a package of Bridges, Hart, Deuce, and like Mitchell Robinson with some draft picks, I know that's asinine, but
example.
And if people are going to complain that it's like Josh Hart going over there, listen, give me the championship. Yeah, I don't care who's on this team.
We fell into this with DiVincenzo last year.
Yes.
And I was like, how many DiVincenzos are walking around on Earth, and how many Karl Anthony Towns? Okay, it's the answers right there for you. It's goodbye, bye. But that's a slippery slope, right? Like, I think we're both willing to say right now we'll do anything for a championship. But if that means like bringing somebody in like LeBron James, he's the perfect fit for this team if you really want to think about it. I do not want this. By the way, saying it into the camera so my Instagram's not inundated. I don't want LeBron James on the Knicks. Warning. He's the perfect guy for the spot. But just like you said, I'm willing to do anything for a championship. I'm not willing. It's like Meatloaf. I would do anything for love, but I won't have LeBron James on the Knicks because that will become the LeBron team. That will become the LeBron story. I still want some semblance of New York Knicks doing it. We didn't grow any of these guys in the farm system. They're Villanova Knicks. By the way, hello, Villanova's in Pennsylvania, right? So I don't know what connection it has to New York. It's great that they're the Nova Knicks and all that stuff, right? But guess what, guys? You need to just lock and load. Look at Hartenstein going to OKC. Do you think he even thought twice about staying on the Knicks? He's like, all right, 16 from the Knicks or 32 from the OKC? Yeah. I'm gonna go to a guy who runs 8 people and got us all hurt last year, or am I gonna run to a team that plays 12 guys?
That's a great point too. That's another thing that's been recently coming out is during the player meetings, the exit meetings, multiple players said that if Tibbs was coming back. Now, these are just, who knows if these are true. Multiple players said if Tibbs was coming back, it would be very hard to go play under him again. And going back to what Deuce McBride said after Game 6, where he said a lot of our issues were exposed during this postseason, maybe a couple of players are just not happy, and maybe it was them that kind of pushed this thing down the road.
You know what it is also? Is if word gets out to the rest of the league that, they're like, yo, man, like, when they're in the off season and they're on vacation with their families and they run into another basketball player that might be available, be like, yo, man, why don't you come play with me? Be like, yo, man, I don't think I can handle Tibbs. And be like, man, he's a great coach. Yeah, but I'm not trying to work that hard. I want to show up. I want to play basketball, but I don't want to. I don't want to play 48 minutes, man. Those days are done. That's 2003 shit, and that's why Tibbs got fired.
Yeah, and that's I don't want to play. I'm coming to Eric and I say, why don't you come play for Tibbs? And he's like, I don't want to play. I
Yeah,
don't want
just
to
let
play
me smoke
45
butts
minutes
during.
against the Hornets in December. I
He
don't.
doesn't let me smoke butts during practice either. Like, but yeah, no, I agree with you, man. Like, I think what it is also, we're a little bit of elder statesmen at this point. So we've been used to this is a lot of these kids that are dancing in the streets when the Knicks are winning the first round of the playoffs against the Pistons. This is their 90s Knicks.
Yeah.
This is their John Starks. Josh Hart is their Knicks. So I don't hate on him for this, but when you've seen this episode before happen over and over and over, and the Knicks never really did anything to get better, what they did was they finally wound up and going out and getting free agents and had the 99 run, and that didn't even really work out well. Those were old guys, and then Allen Houston and Isaiah Thomas held us hostage for 18 years. So at this point, do anything you can. Question to you is, Mike, does the Greek freak and doing all those moves and jumping through hoops and doing all this shit make the Knicks a better team? Or we can do it a lot simpler, grab a new coach and plug and play.
Yeah, it's you grab a new coach with what appears the Knicks are going into next season, whether anybody likes it or not, as one of the top 2 to 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. They're going to be once again the favorite to be a possible finals contender with Boston. Who knows where the hell Boston's going to be? Cleveland, who knows what Cleveland's going to be doing with Garland's toe injury now. And then after that, it's pretty much the Knicks and then everybody else behind them. So that's, of course, before any moves. But again, I'm all for. I want Giannis on the Knicks. But I'm also of the team that does not want to gut the entire roster to go get him.
Well, I believe, Mike, you want your cake and eat it too.
I want it all. I want it all.
You're like, I want the Greek freak for Precious, and I know he's a free agent straight up, okay?
Would they do that?
Yeah, would they? I don't know. Call him up. Bang the coffers on that one. No, listen, man, it's just refreshing. It's very cool to still be talking about the Knicks on June 9th. And it seems like whenever we get together, there's a big move as soon as we hit the stop button on this record.
Something's going to happen today.
Oh, we did the Knicks episode last week, and Tibbs got shit canned immediately. It was so long ago. It was last Monday, and I was like, yo, did we talk about Tibbs getting fired on the messages before the show? And I was like, no, I don't think so. So Tom Thibodeau gets fired. How are we feeling about that, Mike?
It's something that one of my more popular videos on my social medias blew up with. It was the fact that 1 hour after the Knicks lost Game 6, I wanted Tom Thibodeau off this team. So I am, as a Knicks fan, I'm extremely excited about it. He has a ceiling, and I think he reached the ceiling with this team. And I think this was almost a foregone conclusion before the postseason that he was going to go. I think the Knicks have something in mind here. And I hope it's a couple guys that I have in mind as well.
I was saying me and Tibbs have a lot in common. We're stuck in 2000, and it's not our fault. The league moved on with Tibbs. So now Tibbs was a really, really good coach in 2000, Coach of the Year. Even he won Coach of the Year with the Knicks, right?
Yeah, 20 or
his
21.
First or second year. So listen, Tibbs is a good, established coach. We got that. But like I said on this program before, is he the Buck Showalter of the NBA? It seems like he takes franchises right to the point before they can win a championship, and then somebody else has to come in to close the game. But my question is to the Knicks is, who do you got to replace him? So it's kind of like the neighbor adage. You complain about your neighbors now until the new one moves in, and then he's a real asshole. So it's either Malone or now we're talking about Jason Kidd. There's rumblings going on, but I smell Dolan all over this move because Leon Rose, there's a lot of collusion here. Leon Rose is Thibodeau's agent, so why would Leon Rose as an agent want to fire his client, literally taking money out of his own pocket? Leon Rose doesn't think that Tom Thibodeau can take them to the next step and that he was refusing to bend in any direction while Mikal Bridges, the number one points leader since 2019, came up to Tibbs and's like, you got to play your bench? Or is it Dolan finally done with the Sphere? He's done with his project in the sandbox, and now he comes back to New York, and all of a sudden, he's like, hold on. Oh, yeah, that's right. I own the Knicks again. Yeah, Leon, remember I told you that I'm not running the show? Yeah, well, I kind of changed that. So fire Tibbs and I want Jason Kidd. So there's a lot of lanes that we can go down here, Mike. So which one do you think has the most validity behind it?
I think it's Jason Kidd. I mean, Jason Kidd wanted the Knicks. I think he finished second to Thibodeau in the initial interviews when they were looking for a head coach. So Kidd wants New York. I think I know New York wants Kidd. The problem is, will Dallas grant the Knicks permission to even speak to Jason Kidd? They don't have to. Hopefully they do, because I think he'd be great. Brunson has already come out, previously on the podcast, and said, besides Thibs, Jason Kidd's his favorite coach. And, Kidd's probably target number one. I would prefer a guy who's established, like you mentioned, Malone already. And if it's not somebody established, if you're looking at guys like Johnny Bryant, who's like the hot coordinator, like in the NFL, the next guy
I know.
to get hired.
I started to see the NBA do that. The hot offensive and defensive coordinator from the NFL has finally reached the NBA.
It has. And what the Knicks do too, what you're going to see too is, typically with the Leon Rose era, the Knicks move very silently. So whether these reports are coming out or not, until something breaks from like a guy like Ian Begley or the Knicks themselves, a lot of this stuff could mean, who knows what that means. But I think the Knicks move silent, and they're going to make a move. Maybe even somebody none of us are even mentioning right now. It's weird.
So I said to you last week that this current Knicks team reminds me a lot of the 2003 to 2005 New Jersey Nets, the Jason Kidd led Nets. So maybe they do see parallels with this team, and that Jason Kidd was the point man on that team and took that team to a finals twice. And also, who is better to coach Jalen Brunson and possibly develop Jalen Brunson even more and get more out of him? One of the best point guards ever to play a double-double machine, which Jalen Brunson is not a double-double machine. So maybe Jason Kidd comes in and makes the people on the roster better, develops the guys on the bench and the guys in the development league, so they don't have to sell the whole franchise to go for the Greek Freak.
Yeah, that's another hot rumor now too, which we have no idea if
we knew that was happening. We knew as soon as that last ball was dribbled that Greek Freak was going to be on everybody's mind. And then, not to mention, Malone got ran out of Denver. I keep hearing, and I'm guilty of the same thing, I keep hearing Malone's name mentioned. He's a New York guy, got some semblance of familiarity with the New York market. You got to remember, Jokic, who doesn't say anything about anything, he just wants to go home to his horses, literally led the charge of getting him out of Denver. So his voice got lost on a team, just like Tibbs is getting accused of right there. So I know that you like the Tibbs move. I'm not sure. Jury's still out for me. I'd like to see who they get, because Jason Kidd's playoff record isn't better than Tibbs. Jason Kidd is actually got a checkered past with a lot of his personal issues as well. And I don't know if this is a thing. I'm a man who doesn't drink. Jason Kidd and Dolan are both sober. I don't know if this plays into it at all. I'm just shaking every branch on this tree, Mike, and seeing which one comes out, because we don't know what the Knicks are going to do.
No, and, like Malone, 10 games before the postseason started, they let him go, which is very shady. Another guy who his name is being mentioned is the Taylor Jenkins from Memphis, who they let go 12 games before the postseason. Also a former client of Leon Rose. So connecting the dots with that, the Knicks typically seem to hire guys that Leon Rose has either been associated with or is currently associated with. So I like to keep an eye on who they're going to bring in based off that kind of Leon Rose tree as well.
Now, and then also, Jason Kidd is not really appealing to me with all the baggage that goes with him. And, people are definitely possible of changing and stuff like that. But all the baggage that goes with him, and then aren't the Knicks going to have to give up draft capital? Aren't the Knicks going to have to give the Dallas Mavericks some sort of compensation for speaking and taking and acquiring Jason Kidd from the Mavericks?
Yeah, I would probably think something along the lines of possibly a pick swap and a second-round pick in future years. It just depends on how Dallas wants to play ball. They don't have to even grant the Knicks permission. But, as of now, I wouldn't think it would be too much compensation, but it would be something along the lines of possibly a future first pick swap, maybe.
I don't know. A Dallas Mavericks team that would have all the leverage in that situation.
Yeah,
definitely. Listen, you don't want a dejected coach leading your team the whole time. But if I was the Mavericks, I'd try to bend the Knicks over a barrel for that. So then what plays into it is Now let's talk about the Greek Freak, because Jason Kidd is connected to the Greek Freak from the Bucks, all that jazz, blah blah blah. But what I'm saying is that if we don't have any, if we give up the draft capital for Jason Kidd in the move for getting the manager, then we lose draft capital that we can put into a Greek Freak trade, because the Bucks are going to want to rebuild, man. They got Brook Lopez on their team, they got the Greek Freak, and they're going to have to do a complete overhaul. So they're not going to want what? Mikal Bridges? Karl Anthony Towns? What are they going to want, and what are they going to do? And also, heard the Timberwolves head coach mentioned. Because I guess they think by proxy, he's already coaching the New York Knicks of the West, which are the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are like the Amon Shumpert Cleveland Cavaliers from a few years ago, where LeBron just had the Knicks on his team. So I don't know. What about the Minnesota Timberwolves head coach?
Like he's a little weird to me, because I mean, who's that appealing to? Is that appealing to Karl Anthony Towns, who played there, played for him? He already played under Tibbs, and he got rid of. Maybe Towns or somebody like that just needs to hear a complete new voice. And if it's coming from somebody like the guy from the Timberwolves, is he bringing Anthony Edwards with him? I would hope. No, I don't. The guy from I forget his name at this point. That's why he's not even appealing to me. But I would not, hopefully not bring him in.
I got a question for you. Who's a bigger coach killer, Karl Anthony Towns or Aaron Rodgers? I do believe they have 2 firings underneath their belt. Karl Anthony Towns disposes of Tibbs, and then Aaron Rodgers is the Grim Reaper. Robert Saleh and that poor defensive coordinator we had, whose son was calling people during draft day. Karl Anthony Towns, they're trying to make all these decisions around him, so obviously it looks like they're going to keep him.
Yeah, I would assume so. I mean, who wants that? He's got 60+ million coming off the books over the next 3 seasons. Who's taking that contract on, like you said before, with the Bucks? If I'm the Bucks and I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if they want to remain competitive, if they want to shed money. And if they're looking to shed money, why are you bringing in a 30-year-old, 7-foot, 285-pound guy who's not going to age well as that contract continues to move on? But circling back real quick, I would assume my educated guess would probably be some sort of 3-team deal with the Bucks and Knicks and then the Mavericks, which would also acquire Kidd and Giannis, plus a lot of draft capital amongst those 3 teams, maybe even a 4th team.
That would be the biggest trade in NBA history.
It gets real tricky when you start involving coaches and a player like the Freak. But, at this point, I'm okay with keeping the roster and possibly just adding a few pieces.
I heard the Francesa commercial. Local 76, feel the power. Not only deserves, but demands.
He's the greatest.
And that company strictly kept that on there because they had Francesa's last voiceover that he did while he was on the fan, and they've kept it for. I don't even care if the electrical union is in business anymore. Feel the power, okay? Do you watch Francesa's show on YouTube? Okay. And remember, Bet Rivers. This backdrop is an ode. Okay. I could put a Bet Rivers app behind me and no one would know the fucking difference anyway, because who knows where to get the Bet Rivers, okay, in Connecticut. And any of your betting needs or wants, Bet Rivers. So anyway,